river's the one thing that connects and unites everybody here in the valley. And whether you get out and float it and fish it, just a beautiful, clean running river, it's important to understand that it's a fragile resource and that everyone should get involved and should care about it.
It'll all have an effect someday.
Boy, this is a great bank. You've got all of these mosses kind of binding all the soil together. And if you look at carefully, you can see just this thick mat of roots. Yeah, I think if you look upstream, you can really see the difference between where the moss is and where they've left a little vegetation. The soils are stable, the banks are stable. And as soon as you remove that tree, like they took out a tree right there, the soils start eroding and start producing a lot of excess sediment.
This area is so smooth on the river and so quiet. And then my favorite thing is that it comes around the corner and it makes these big swirls and deep pools. Makes like a big yin-yang sign.
One of the water uses that takes place that we oftentimes don't factor in and don't take consideration of is the wildlife that are in this area. They need water too, just like people. Without water, they don't have the grasses and the feed that they need to sustain themselves. Water is just as important to their existence as it is to ours.
We have to protect the riparian zone, right? Wetlands actually act as a filter for the river. So some of the river water comes through here, it gets filtered, and then it goes into the river cleaner. And think about this, when they dam up a pond, who did we see fly away from here? A duck. So lots of birds, the dippers, all sorts of things. This becomes their habitat. So without the beavers, we lose all this habitat too. All of the actions of the beavers damming up this water actually helps improve the water's quality, makes the water healthier.
The Upper Roaring Fork starts at Independence Lake, not too far up here, about 4 or 5 miles up. Comes down here, there's no diversions up here, so it's completely natural. Then it hits this head wall, and as you can see, mostly all of this water is going into that tunnel. Over here, this is what's left of the flow in the Roaring Fork in the summer. Our goal is to try to get a more ecologically sustainable flow 12 months a year in the Upper Roaring Fork and in Lost Man Creek.
The real bottom line here is that the river could be completely dried up under the doctrine of prior appropriation of the water rights, so we could be looking at a dry river. But for the good graces of that agreement that we've been able to implement with the Twin Lakes Company, there would be no water in the river.
The water law in Colorado is what's called first in time, first in right. It's called the priority system. We're trying to work cooperatively with Twin Lakes Canal and Reservoir Company so that we can restore this upper part of the watershed to a kind of health. What we'd like to see happen is that all of the streams have enough water to sustain life.
At the beginning of this week, the Twin Lakes project, which diverts waters from the headwaters up here, stopped diverting. So the water in the Roaring Fork right now is probably about 4 times greater than it was just a week ago. But because there is what's called a call on the river down in the Grand Junction area, senior water rights holders down there are calling for their water rights, which means Twin Lakes has to shut off. So If you'd been here a week ago, you probably wouldn't have been able to, or just barely hear the river from here, because it was just a trickle.
Let's go out to the river, everybody. Let's keep walking this way. Is that good snow? Yeah, it's very clear, right? So what I want to encourage you guys to do is to help us to keep our rivers clean so Stanley has a clean home. Do you guys clean up around your house? Yeah. Do you guys clean up around your house? Yeah, well, it's also good to clean up around the rivers. What do you think you do if you see some trash by the river?
Get it up.
Pick it up.
And throw it away.
And throw it away, good.